I'm Tom. There's a lot of talk at the moment around AJ versus Bakole. Obviously, Ben Shalom's come out and said that it's a done deal. Then Eddie Hearn came out and said that he's got no idea what he's talking about. We saw at the Ring Magazine award ceremony, AJ and Bakole had a bit of a face-off. Now, you don't do face-offs for no reason. You don't stand there and do face-offs for fights that have nothing around them. They're not just doing that for the giggles. There's obviously reasons they've done that, and I believe both fighters genuinely are up for that fight. I think Bakole sees a shot to bits AJ. He's got a very, very powerful punch, so when he lands on AJ, it would be good night. I think AJ sees somebody who's been talking a lot of smack, just like with the Dubois fight really, talking a lot of smack, giving it a big game over interviews and social media, but somebody he thinks never got the better of him, and he could get the better of them. I'm sure they have sparred and both take different bits of information, but also different bits of pride away from these sparring sessions. So I'm sure there's, in terms of the fight, there's elements about the fight that I think both fighters will take great confidence kind of from and will believe wholeheartedly they could, win the fight. And I think if this fight were to happen, although I know Eddie's come out and said that it's not going to happen, it's not announced, they've had no connections or contact regarding it, and Ben Shalom said the exact opposite. I think it lies somewhere in the middle. I think Turki Al-Sheikh's obviously mentioned it. Ben Shalom's seen that and ran with it and said, yeah, the fight's happening. Turki Al-Sheikh wants it to happen, therefore it's done. And Eddie Hearn, probably somewhat the other side, negotiating tactics. We've seen it before with Jake Paul and Canelo. By saying that, he drives his price up a little bit, but also I don't necessarily think Eddie Hearn kind of wants this fight for AJ. Do I think Eddie Hearn's keen to have his money man, AJ, go in there against a Bakole who could kind of, if he wins, put the end to the career? I don't think he'll be exactly excited for that. Do you know what I mean? So I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. But make no mistake, this fight is huge. If this fight happens, this fight is huge. I mean, AJ versus Bakole, especially if it happens in Africa, if this happens in the Congo, where the Rumble in the Jungle took place, that same arena, that same stadium, this is huge. If it takes place there, Rumble in the Jungle 2.0, if you will, this fight is huge. Boxing in Africa is massive. Boxing in Africa, I mean, have you seen the videos of AJ when he returns to Nigeria? Boxing in Africa is a massive sport. And this is a way to really grasp hold of that, if it were to happen. Two African, behemoths in AJ and Martin Bakole. It's meant to be AJ versus Wilder. I believe Ade Oladipo was saying chaos in Lagos, wasn't he? But that never happened, and cool, whatever. But this fight would captivate a boxing audience all over Africa in a way that we've probably never really seen outside of the Rumble in the Jungle. I think that's perhaps fair to say. These are huge names. Like I said, it's an African in the... it's a Rumble in the Jungle 2.0, also taking place in the Congo. And Bakole's doing all the right things to get this. He's doing all the right things. He's making all the right noise. He's saying all the right things. He's going to all the right people to get this to happen. And that's really all you can ask. I mean, what more can he do? He's saying the right things, doing the right things. His element of this, he's taking care of this. AJ is the one that's not been saying an awful lot, been perhaps a bit quiet. Eddie Hearn saying nothing's been said, nothing's going on. If Martin Bakole, and this is a big if he gets through Efe Ajagba, which I think he will, but Efe Ajagba is no pushover, then this could absolutely take place because he's saying all the right things. You know what I mean? I mean, the thing is with Martin Bakole though, is, he's Sparzilla. Do you know what I mean? He's sparred everyone, knocked everyone out in sparring. This is what he's saying. He's saying all the right things and he's doing the right things. But what he's saying, they're all sparring stories, and I'm bored of hearing sparring stories. If we were to do our rankings off of sparring stories, he'd be the undisputed champion because he's sparred everyone and knocked everyone out in sparring. And it's boring to see when you've got zero claims to back this up, like no claims to back this up. Or no evidence to back up these claims, rather, got no evidence to back up these claims. That's my issue with it. So I think, realistically, I think AJ win this. I think if this happens, it's an AJ win. because I just think, and I'm going to get a bit of hate for this, I just think Bakole's a bit of a shit Dubois. And I'm going to get a bit of hate for this as well. I think AJ versus Dubois is a 70-30 split in AJ's favour. We just saw one of the times it was in Dubois' favour. We saw one of those 30% for Dubois. I think it's a 70-30 to AJ. And I also think Bakole's a bit of a shit Dubois. I mean, he's got no head movement. He's much slower. His gas tank won't be as good. Yes, he can thud, but I just think AJ would see those punches a mile off. And AJ's currently being overrated. Bakole being slightly overrated, especially when you look at the Frank Sanchez loss, which granted was a long time ago. I just think AJ stops him mid to late by KO, because AJ would see his punches coming a mile off. I don't think Bakole would see his punches sort of coming. And even if he did, I don't think there's much you can do about it. I think you'd get to him and stop him a bit late on. I'm going to get a bit of hate for that, but that's how I see the fight going. I'd favour AJ in it. I think Bakole's great. I picked him to beat Anderson. I thought he was fantastic, but I think he's being a bit overrated. So I'd add it to AJ personally. Let me know your thoughts, people, in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know how YouTube works, people. Peace.